Hello friends, I am Parvati Krishnan. Today we are going to see about a new topic, that is contamination of foods. This is our contact details. If you have any doubts, you can contact us. First, we will see the introduction of this topic. What is contamination? Contamination is used when germs settle in objects or in substances, or unwanted organisms settle in a pre-culture of a particular organism. Most of the organisms are contaminants, but a few are added to foods to bring about some desirable changes in the food. Contamination of food can be brought about by plants and fruits, animals, sewage, soil, water, air, and finally during handling and processing. First one is from plants and fruits. All plant surfaces have a natural flora of microorganisms. The natural flora present on the leaf surface is called as phylloplain flora. Similarly, the natural flora present on the root surface is called as rhizoplain flora. The natural surface flora of plant includes Pseudomonas, alkali genes, Flavobacterium, Micrococcus, coliforms, and lactic acid bacteria. Sometimes Bacillus species, yeast, and molds may also be present. The number of microorganisms on the surface of healthy young plant leaves may be quite low. The number of bacteria will depend upon the plant and its environment. For example, the surface of a well-washed tomato may show 400 to 700 microorganisms per square centimeter, while an unwashed tomato would have several thousand. Another example is outer tissue of unwashed cabbage might contain 1 to 2 million microorganisms per gram, but washed and trimmed cabbage contains 200,000 to 500,000. And even richer yeast flora is found in association with the nectaris of flowers and the surfaces of fruits. So, the presence of some of these yeast are important in the spontaneous fermentation of fruit juices such as grape in the production of wine. Then, many species of fungi and bacteria can cause disease in plants and spoilage problems after harvesting and storage. The bacteria is a pathogen of the potato plant, causing blackleg diseases. The bacteria may even infect the healthy potato tubers, causing a severe soft rot during storage. The fungi infects the flower of a strawberry and causes grey mold, which spreads rapidly to the neighboring fruit. Aspergillus flavus, which produces a carcinogenic metabolite, namely aflatoxins, infect the growing plant in the field. So, the exposed surfaces of plants become contaminated from soil, water, sewage, air, and animals, so that the microorganisms from these sources are added to the natural flora. Then, from animals. All healthy animals carry a complex microbial flora. Sources of microorganisms from animals include the surface flora, the flora of the respiratory tract, and the flora of the gastrointestinal tract. The normal skin flora is dominated by gram-positive bacteria from the genera Staphylococcus, Corynebacterium, and Propionic bacterium. Feathers and feet of poultry carry heavy contamination from similar sources. In poultry, the microorganisms are associated with feathers and the exposed follicles. Once feathers are removed, it may affect the microbial quality and potential shelf life of the carcass. The skin of many meat animals may contain micrococci, staphylococci, and beta hemolytic streptococci. Salmonellosis in animals can result in contamination of animal products or byproducts and thus contaminate food derived from them with salmonella. Many of these diseases have been reduced or eliminated by improvement in animal husbandry. A listing of agents of animal diseases causing infections from foods would include Brucella, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, beta hemolytic streptococci, salmonella, parasites and viruses. And then from sewage. Sewage is the used water supply of a community, so it therefore contains dilute human excremental matter and wastes from kitchen, laundry and bath. The microorganisms in sewage include many saprophytic aerobes, strict anaerobes and facultative anaerobes, as well as the sulfur oxidizing, sulfate reducing and nitrate reducing organisms. The common types of bacteria in sewage derived from soil and intestines are the coliform bacteria, fecal streptococci, clostridium, bacteriotes, micrococcus, yeast, molds and others. As sewage carries human wastes, it is also likely to contain pathogenic organisms, especially those diseases which affect the intestinal tract such as cholera, typhoid and dysentery. There are about 60 types of viruses have been found in sewage, mainly polioviruses, echo and Coxsackie virus, as well as those of hepatitis. Moreover, if raw sewage is discharged without adequate treatment directly into lakes, rivers or streams, the water may become a danger to human health. When untreated domestic sewage is used to fertilize plant crops, there is a likelihood that raw plant foods will be contaminated with human pathogens, especially those causing gastrointestinal diseases. The use of night soil as a fertilizer still persists in some parts of the world but is rare in the United States. In addition to the pathogens, coliform bacteria, anaerobes, enterococci and other intestinal bacteria can contaminate the foods from this source. Treated sewage going into soil or into water also contributes microorganisms, although it should contain smaller numbers and fewer pathogens than raw sewage. Then from soil. The soil environment is extremely complex. Different soil have their own diverse flora of bacteria, fungi, protozoa and algae. The soil is a rich reservoir of microorganisms. It has provided many of the strains used for the industrial production of antibiotics, enzymes, amino acids, vitamins and other products used in both the pharmaceutical and food industries. The soil contains the greatest variety of microorganisms of any source of contamination. Whenever the microbiologists search for new kinds of microorganisms or new strains for special purposes, they usually turn first to the soil. Not only numerous kinds of microorganisms, but also large total numbers are present in fertile soils ready to contaminate the surfaces of plants growing on or in them and the surfaces of animals roaming over the land. Soil dust is whipped up by air currents and soil particles are carried by running water to get into or onto foods. Nearly every important microorganisms can come from soil. So, the important are various molds, yeast and species of the bacterial genera Bacillus, Clostridium, Enterobacter, Escherichia, Micrococcus, alkali genes and Flavobacterium. Modern methods of food handling usually involve washing the surfaces of food and hence the removal of much of the soil from those surfaces and care is taken to avoid contamination by soil dust. Then from water. The aquatic environment represents the largest part of the biosphere. Both freshwater and the seawater contain many species of microorganisms. Natural waters contain not only their natural flora but also microorganisms from soil and from animals or sewage. The fresh water of river and lakes also have a complex flora. Bacterial numbers in groundwaters may range from a few to several hundred bacteria per milliliter. The kinds of bacteria in natural waters are chiefly species of Pseudomonas, Chromobacterium, Proteus, Micrococcus, Bacillus, Streptococcus, Enterococci, Enterobacter and Escherichia. Bacteria of the last three genera probably are contaminants rather than part of the natural flora. The surfaces of fish have a bacterial flora and will contain predominantly psychrophilic and psychotrophic species. It could be responsible for the production of off odors and hence spoilage. Vibrio may be responsible for outbreaks of food poisoning, especially associated with seafoods. The food microbiologists are interested in two aspects of water bacteriology. One is public health aspects and another one is economic aspects. From the public health point of view, the water is used for foods should be absolutely safe to drink as shown by freedom from sewage contamination. And from the economic point of view, a water with agreeable chemical and bacteriological characteristic is desired for use in connection with the food being handled or processed. So, the water should have an acceptable taste, odor, color, clarity, chemical composition and bacterial content and should be available in sufficient volume at a desired temperature and be uniform in composition. Contamination may come from water used as an ingredient for washing foods, for cooling heated foods and for manufacturing ice for preserving foods. The gas forming coliform bacteria may enter into milk from cooling tank water and cause trouble in cheese made from the milk. Anaerobic gas formers may enter into the foods from soil laden water. It is important to select a location with a good water supply when establishing a plant for handling or processing foods, and it is often necessary to treat the water to make it of satisfactory chemical and bacteriological quality. Water supplies should be protected against sewage pollution. Then from air. One of the most hostile environment for many microorganisms is the atmosphere. When suspended in air, many microorganisms, especially gram-negative bacteria, die very rapidly. A significant number of microbes are able to survive and they use the air as a means of dispersal. Spoilage organisms may come from air and interfere with food fermentations. Mold spores from air may give trouble in cheese, meat, sweetened condensed milk and sliced bread and bacon. Air does not contain a natural flora of microorganisms. The microorganisms in air have no opportunity for growth. Spores of Penicillium and Aspergillus seems to get everywhere and species of these two genera are responsible for a great deal of food spoilage. And finally from during handling and processing. The contamination of foods from the natural sources just discussed may take place before the food is harvested or gathered or during handling and processing of the food. Additional contamination may come from equipment coming in contact with foods, from packaging materials and from personnel. The processor attempts to clean and sanitize equipment to reduce such contamination and to employ packaging materials that will minimize contamination. Various workers suggest that human beings are shed from 10 power 3 to 10 power 4 viable organisms per minute. During slicing of bread, contamination may take place from microorganisms in the air, on the knives or on the wrapper. Cakes are similarly subjected to contamination. Mold spores is favored by contaminated slicing machine and wrapping and storage in a warm, humid place. Contamination of juice from sugar cane may come from the slides or joints or troughs at the plant. Spores of thermophiles may be added from the equipment. Spoilage of fresh fruits and vegetables usually occurs during storage and transport and while waiting to be processed. As soon as these fruits and vegetables are gathered into boxes, baskets or trucks during harvesting, they are subject to contamination with spoilage organisms from each other and from the containers. Soaking and washing by agitation tend to distribute spoilage organisms from damaged to whole foods. Further, contamination is by handling by salespeople and customers. In the processing plant, the fruits or vegetables are subjected to further contamination. Processes such as trimming, mechanical abrasions or peeling, cutting, and various methods of disintegration may add contaminants from the equipment involved. In fact, every piece of equipment coming in contact with food can be a significant source of microorganisms unless it has been cleared and sanitized adequately. Example of possible source of contamination of foods with microorganisms are trays, bins, tanks, pipes, tables, conveyor belts and aprons, screens and filters. It is obvious that the number of microorganisms that enter foods from equipment depend upon the opportunities given for these organisms for growth. Added ingredients like sugar or starch may add spoilage organisms, especially spores of thermophilic bacteria. The important contamination of meat comes during handling and processing. Any bacteria on the knife will soon be found in meat. Knives, cloths, air and hands and clothing of the workers can serve as intermediate source of contaminants. So these are all brought to contamination of food. I think you all understand this topic. In next class we will see another new topic. Thank you for watching us.